Welcome to a seat at the table where there is real talk on real situations from real people. This is your girl, Jaquel Jones, and I'm also your host. Let's get into it, y'all. Hello, good people, all my kings, my queens, my brothers, and my sisters. Welcome back to another episode of A Seat at the Table. This is your girl, Jaquel Jones, and I'm your host and creator of this wonderful podcast. Again, A Seat at the Table. So, as you see by now, this episode is a little different because it is only me at the table. I refuse to go back on what I said about only having the men at the table this week, but it has been somewhat of a challenge to get the fellas to the table. Hopefully, when this episode is heard, it might inspire some to come forward, and maybe not. But I respect it 100% of why some of the realists have explained to me of why they are just not as willing to come to the table on this topic. And just to recap, tonight we are discussing, do all men cheat, and what is it that women just do not understand when it comes to the mind of the man, especially when it comes to relationships. We are this is our first episode getting into relationship goals, and we're going to be discussing so many things when it comes to relationships that we know that even this conversation probably needs a part A, B, session one, session two, because it's one of those things that it's developed differently in every relationship. It looks different in every relationship, and every person will deal with infidelity in a different way. But I think we all know, and we all can say that cheating is an issue, a major issue when it comes to relationships. And I think it is safe to say, I'm sure y'all can correct me if you like. Throw it in the comments. We got a Facebook group, A Seat at the Table. Throw it in the comments. I think it's safe to say that men cheat more than women. I mean, in my opinion, I left it open for the men to come to the table. So hopefully, if you disagree, you'll be at the table next week. But moving forward, I do want to say that I have had a number of conversations with men this week. A lot of men that I respect and I love, and I have asked them the hard questions and got some feedback on why I think some of the men are reluctant to come to the table when it comes to this issue. If you're a real one, and we only got a handful of them, but if you're a real one, you're not going to come on to a public platform to discuss your brother's cheating or your brother's slipping, or it's so different when it comes down to women. I really believe, and women, you can shout me out if you disagree, but I think women are more prone to tear each other down than men are. I said it and meant it. We will be all the way ready to go to another female and say what she did, or I heard she did this in her relationship, and I heard she was this. And men are more like, man, that's his business. You're not gonna. Now, I will say, men gossip just as much as females, but you don't hear it as much as you hear it as publicly as it comes down when it comes to women. So, do we all run our mouth? We sure do. I definitely can say that. But at the same time, as you see, women, the brothers are not gonna sell each other out, and I ain't mad at them. I'm just saying, I ain't mad at them. But we do have to discuss this topic. We have to get into it. So, I have done a lot of digging. I've done some research, and it has been interesting to really hear the feedback of some of the guys that I know, some guys I went to school with, some guys I grew up with, some guys that I love and respect. And it's been funny. It's been enlightening, and it has definitely been a shift in the mindset when it comes down to infidelity and the normality of men cheating in relationships, and why women choose to stay. I said it again. So, what I have found to be quite interesting is everything. Some men were defensive because the title, "Do All Men Cheat?" The title did not say, "Yo, all men cheat." Why? The title said, do all men cheat? It was a question. And to be honest, I have not yet heard one lady say, yes, all men cheat. Most, and I can answer, actually, all of the feedback that I have gotten from women regarding this topic have not said that all men cheat. they have actually said that some cheat, most do. And I'm y'all come on with it. Like, you can agree, stop playing. Most men cheat. It is what it is. But do I believe that we do have some good ones out there who value the sanctity of their relationship, of marriage, of vows, of being loyal? Absolutely. Absolutely. But unfortunately, we have a lot who choose that, and this is the T too. Is of course we know double standards when it comes down to men and women. But one thing I have heard is that, and it's an old cliche, but it's definitely a real cliche. When women cheat, we cheat with our emotions, and when men cheat, they cheat with their physical, with the physical. So I guess in some retrospect we can say that's true. Um, but I do believe that we have some women who may not be satisfied in some areas, whether it be physical or emotional, and it causes them to seek that, or to fulfill that physical desire. And it may not be that she feeling him so much that she's saying she in love with him or she gotta have him. It could just be that he is, entreat her in a way that she's willing to give of herself in a physical way. That doesn't mean that she's cheating emotionally. That means she saw something she wanted and she took it. Just like that. And I think the part that irritates me the most when it comes down to the double standard of men and women, if a woman cheats, she's a hoe. When a dude cheats, oh, that's just a man being a man. I don't like that. I don't respect that. Um, and I don't honor that. I don't honor that at all. Cheaters are cheaters, period. And I feel like we've all made, in some level, we're not perfect people. And whether you have entertained a conversation, you've entertained, you know, mixed company, um, everybody does something different. And I don't believe that anybody can stand up here and say that they have been perfect in their relationship, men or women. So I tried to be very upfront and trying to let everyone know that this was not a male bashing conversation, but I did want it to be an enlightening one to intrigue the intellect of women to know a little bit more about how men think and how they gauge things differently from what we do when it comes down to relationships, emotions, and sex. Because clearly we see things different sometimes. A woman can be happy-go-lucky in a relationship, and a man can be so unfulfilled and won't know it. And I don't know if that is because of a lack of communication. I have done a lot of posting this week on communication and trying to bring awareness to its importance when it comes down to relationships, because it is. You have to be able to articulate your emotions. You have to be able to articulate your thoughts and your feelings so that your partner is not left in the dark. Most times, I have found where you've been with someone and you expect them to just know. They don't know, bro, sis. We don't know. We don't know. I can't read your mind. And as people, we grow on a daily basis. We grow through our relationships. We grow individually and we grow together. And that looks different. My individual growth may be totally different from my growth with you as my partner. So those are, I mean, it's just things that you really have to pay attention to in your relationships to really understand and know what those expectations have now changed into. When you got together, it was okay because y'all were, intimate 3 to 5 times a week. And as you began to grow together, that became 1 to 2 times a week. And sis, you know how we do. We got work, we got homes. I done had your kids. I'm trying to keep up the house. Thank you for going to work, but it's still a lot. And we okay with the 1 to 2. But bro still like, you coming for that 3, 4, 5? You get what I'm saying? So those are things that you got to pay attention to. And if you do not have that open communication in your relationship, you'll leave opportunity for space to be able to develop. And where there is space, it becomes room for infiltration. And that infiltration can be the video games. The infiltration could be him going out with the boys. Infiltration could be her going to the club with her girls, something that she ain't done in how long. Infiltration could be him smoking and drinking. You never know. It doesn't always have to be sex or, infidelity. It could be something that draws you guys, further apart than closer together. And if all you have to do is communicate to change those gaps, then hey, let's figure out the communication, right? So moving on, I did want to just highlight some things that we've been discussing this week on our Facebook page. And I thought it was so interesting. The first mail that we had to post, it was funny because he ended up deleting his messages. I thought it was hilarious. But I thought that he kind of took offense to the post a little bit. Went on to talk about how the women had responded. And like I said, the women only responded by saying, some men cheat, some don't. And most do, which is, I think, at this point, we know is facts. That's not saying that women are any different. It's just saying that most men do cheat. Just saying, not all, but most. And I think even in the conversations that I've had, they've concurred that fact, but they've kind of delved deeper into the why. And I love that because that was what I really wanted to be highlighted on this show. The why. Why do men cheat? What causes the gaps? And what does it look like for them when it comes down to choosing the worth? Was it worth you stepping out? And is it worth you fighting the trust back of your woman? So those were some of the things that I really wanted to discuss. But going into the group, here we have it. So I wanted to read this post that one of our audience members, he said, we want our women to be the nastiest, freakiest, and submissive woman that she can be for us. One more time, the nastiest, the freakiest, and most submissive woman that she can be for us. Now, I think it's interesting because let's flip it. We want you to be the nastiest, freakiest, most submissive man for us. And the conversation I had this morning with one of the men in my life that I actually I respect and love was not so much submissive, but strong. And my thing is, we sometimes get the word and the term submissive confused. In a relationship, when you have a submissive party, that does not mean that she is passive. That does not mean that one is more superior than the other. That just means that you are the head of your household and your wife values, respects, and honors your leadership. If you are the head of your household, menfolk, what does that look like? Now, I only can speak for myself and what I have seen and what I've been taught. But if you are the head of your household, you lead in a way that is respectable, honorable, and it gives that authority in your home to where your wife respects you, she honors you, and she follows your leadership. Now, let's take it back just a little bit because for me, if a man does not honor God, he cannot expect for me to honor him in our home. That's just me. That is just me. For your household, it could be different. But if you are not allowing God to lead you, how in the world am I supposed to follow you? Because I have to know what's leading you, right? I have to know what values, what morals you stand on that will allow me to be submissive to my husband. And being submissive in a household, like I said, is different for every household. It could just mean that the man handles the finances. It can mean that, you only take care of certain things in the household and you guys have an agreement, a compromise on what happens. But I think some men have that submissive part completely backwards. That does not mean that she's your servant. I don't serve you. I honor you. And I think that is something that, y'all might want to pay attention to and make sure that that's reciprocated. Because if my man doesn't honor me, that's going to look kind of funny. And when I say funny, I mean some head knock upside your, like I might have to, that type of funny. Because if you don't honor me, that shows. That shows in public. That shows around family. That shows with family or guests that we have in our home. That shows to our children when you don't honor your wife. And if you choose to dishonor your wife, your fiance, your woman, your old lady, if you choose to dishonor her in a way that brings about infidelity, you have now opened the floodgates for every person that you have now dishonored her with to dishonor her as well. Once you open the door for another woman to disrespect or demean your wife, your whatever she is to you, some men don't do titles, whatever. But as long as you open the door for someone else to dishonor her, you can't say, "Oh, they know better. That's the side cheat. She know better. She know what it is." No, she don't. She knows that she had the power to make you cheat on your wife, the one you claim to love so much. Nah, boss. Y'all gotta have, and I say y'all because I'm speaking to the audience, not just men and women. I'm putting myself in there. We have to have a little bit more self-control, self-management, and we need to honor ourselves more so that we don't put ourselves out there looking that crazy. Because as soon as you come into my inbox, as soon as you come into my phone, whether you're calling or texting, and I know you got an old lady, I know you got a wife, my first thought is, what's going on in your house? What is going wrong? Because if everything is right, you're not going to call me. If everything is going good, all the pictures that you're posting is great, and y'all are loving and living well, you shouldn't be calling me. And that leaves another person to go to her friend or his friend and say, "Yeah, that bitch, she be in my inbox. She be trying to holler at me all the time." Like, if you post it up and you happy, be happy. Be happy. Don't mess up something because of the 20. When you got the 80 sitting beside you, taking care of your kids, fixing your dinner, washing your nasty clothes. Like, if you got that 80 sitting there, doing everything that she can to make you happy, it only takes a conversation to say, "Babe, you're doing an awesome job. And I just want to make sure that we carve out time for us. I know you're taking care of the kids or whatever, but let's make sure that we can take care of us too. I love you. I want you. I need you." Like, you might not say it like that. I'm just saying. But let her know that you need her in that way, so that when she goes upstairs, she don't put on the big t-shirt. She put on the nice little silver jean that you like, the pink one you like. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. You have to make her know that you still want her, that you desire her, so that she can put on for you. And I'm not saying that it's not the other way around too. Ladies, stop playing, man. Like, I know the big t-shirt is comfortable. I know. Trust me, I got a few. But I'm just saying, when Brooke come in the house, I want him to look at me like, "Yo, I'm glad I chose her. That's for me. That's all mine." I want him to look at me and know that I'm still the prize. I'm forever the prize. And he should be glad he got me. Just saying. Things to think about. And then, going on with our little post on our page, we had a whole lot of no's. Somebody said, "Hell no," he was serious. And, he didn't come to the table, but he was serious about it. Like, men do not cheat. Not all men anyway. And then, I had to bring some highlight to this Derek Jackson situation. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I had mixed feelings about his wife because she sat in the video and allowed him to speak his quote unquote truth. And her voice just was not heard in the initial video that I saw. I could not watch it all because I was kind of just floored by it. I remember in the beginning when the conversations were happening about Pastor John Gray. And I'll be honest, I was highly disappointed in John Gray. But he's human. He makes mistakes. I do not give passes. That's not my job. I don't judge either because that's not my job. But I do have an opinion, and so do we all. And he cheated or whatever he did. But Derek Jackson had a whole lot to say about it, like a whole lot. And I thought to myself, well, some of the things he's saying is true, as far as, women being the dumpster for emotionally broken men and dealing with all the trauma that comes from that. And just being honest, a lot of our men are broken. A lot of them, I don't know if anyone has ever dealt with a man who has had trauma caused by his mother. It's one of the most difficult things to really deal with in a relationship, because that alters how he sees women. If the first woman that he knows and loves and trusts dishonors him in a way that breaks him emotionally, that can be very hard to get by or how to get past. Or when a man is not shown affection in the home, he looks at affection a different way. So these are some things, ladies, when you start to date these men, they drive the nice cars, he's taking care of you, he's pulling the chair out for you, opening doors for you. All of that looks good on the surface. You have to figure out the fabrics of his being. What makes him who he is? What issues has he had growing up? What is the relationship with him and his mother? How was the influence of his father in the home? Those are things that kind of shape the men and us too, especially the fatherless daughters, And I'll be honest, I done seen a whole lot of situations where women have had mama and daddy in the home, and they still are promiscuous. They still, it's things to think about. And then once you get into that, you want to know a little bit more of, well, what was daddy doing in the home? How did mama receive him in the home? What was the attitude? What was the behaviors like? What did it look like that would cause her to not have enough confidence in herself, or to give of herself so freely? Now, I'm all for women having dominion and authority over their bodies, and being able to sexually explore themselves in a way that most men have done by the time they're 18. Let's just be honest. I'm okay with that in a sense, because women have to be women, and we have to learn ourselves in a way that will allow us to know our bodies and know who we are, and be able to give of ourselves to a man in totality of being confident in who we are. But at the same time, when you finally find the one, and he wants to know about your past and what has made you the woman that he loves so much, you don't really want your list to be like 2 pages long, sis. So, I mean, like, I'm just saying, and this is a double standard, and I don't care. I'm at the table, so I'm going to tell the truth. I'm just saying, you don't want your list to be 2 pages long. Because, like, come on, stop it. And whatever, say what you want, but I'm just saying. Like, you can still be sexually free and not be sexually free with James, John, Tay, Travis. Like, I'm gonna keep naming, but I'm just saying. It ain't gotta be that long. Like, value your body. Everybody don't deserve that piece of you. Seriously. That was one of the biggest issues that I couldn't understand when I dealt with infidelity. Is you gave them yourself. Like, you just gave it up. I don't understand. Like, you just gave them yourself. No, you gonna fight for this. You won't me? Okay, yeah, you gonna put in some work for this. Like, just saying, like, you have to value yourself. And that's for men and women. Like, you don't want to be the talk. Like, women talk. Oh, you have. Oh, for real. And that was whack. It was whack. Yeah, I'm just saying, bro. Like, we talk. You don't want to be the whack one. Moving on. So, talking about Derrick Jackson. So we really came for his wife. We like the community, the Black community. We have come for the wife. And the craziest thing that I didn't understand is that when her clap back was Jesus. She said, y'all see the bonnet, y'all see the shirt, and she talked about having the full armor of God on. And dealing with this man holding your hand is tight, you better have the full armor of God on. I'm just saying. That leads me into understanding why women stay. Now, for me, there has always been the just not wanting to start over. You know this man, you built a relationship with him, you love him, and you see the potential in what you could be. And that makes you want to stay. It makes you want to stick it out. But I have learned that most men are not going to stick it out with you, sis. The moment you step out on him, his ego, the attitude, and the inability to get over it, it does not allow him to love you the same. And whereas we will demask and we will build him up. And when I say build him up, babe, it's okay. You don't have to apologize anymore. He does. He broke your trust. He dishonored you, dishonored your vows. He should be apologizing. It just is what it is. I'm just saying. It doesn't mean that you haven't forgiven him. It just means that he should forever work to build that trust back up. But we are so willing to say, babe, no, I still love you. We're going to make this work. Mainly because you don't want the haters to win. Am I the only one with that? We so caught up in rebuilding this man just so the haters can't say that they won, so that the side piece can't say that she was the one who tore the pieces. Like, we will stay. We will stay to save face. You hear me? And it's just one of those things where it took me a while, and I'm just going to be honest, it took me a while to be able to stand in my own little space in the, just my own foundation and say, yo, you're going to be good with or without him. You're going to be great in everything that you are, with or without him. And it's not to say I don't love him, because I do. It ain't to say that he doesn't deserve forgiveness, because he does. It's not to say that he cannot rebuild after this mistake. It simply means that I am not going to allow you to tear me down so that you can be better or greater. I am not going to be submissive to you just so you can feel like the big man, because that's not what submission is about. It doesn't mean that I am going to dim my glow so that you can shine. It just means that I'm a woman and I'm okay with being my own woman. Okay? So that means if you want to cheat on me, you can go ahead. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. And see where it takes you. See how well she cooks. See if she can get, iron your clothes the way I do. Go ahead and do that. And when you come back, I may or may not be here. And I think for women, we need to lean more towards the may nots. Because if you have to choose between me and anything else, then you don't deserve me. Period. And that's what my men feel too. I'm going to be honest. We got a lot of good dudes out there. A lot of good men. And y'all so caught up in the flash of who this person is, what they say about him, how he looked, this little bit of money he throw around. But you got a good man, a good one, who cares about your growth, who cares about your shine, your glow, who wants to build you up, who wants to build with you. And you would rather take this one than the one who really cares about your well-being, you being good, you living well. Like, I'm going to tell y'all, stop looking past the, hey, how you doing, for the, what's up, boo? Like, girl, please. Like, you really, I think for women, we really got to start, getting out of our own way when it comes down to how we choose men. You have to, I'm just saying, ladies, I'm just saying, don't bite my head off. I'm just a messenger. But that goes both ways. Man, it can't all be about the booties and, come on. Like, we know better at this point. Don't we know better? I hope so. Like, you have to go beyond that physical. What does she bring to the table? Is she going to help you grow? Is she going to talk to you about your finances, your credit score? Being I ain't, going that deep, but like, is she going to help you build your brand? And your brand is everything that you are. When you show up in a room and when she's on your arm, are people going to pay attention? Are they going to look? Are they going to see power when they see y'all together? Or is they just going to see you walking with her? I'm just saying. Think about it. Think about it. Couples, especially my Black women and my Black men, we are a power in our own right. And when we walk in the room together, honey, head should always turn. Like, yo, that's relationship goals right there. When y'all get through and y'all fight through and y'all stick it out together, like, and I ain't talking about no cheating. I mean life. I mean kids. I mean mortgages, cars, finances. When y'all are making it, like that is what relationship goals are. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it's just interesting. Um, and this is the funniest thing. So I said to one of my male friends that I had actually interviewed in preparation for this show, I said, so if you cheat, what does that conversation look like with your spouse, with your woman? Like, how do you tell her that you cheated? He looked me dead in my face and he said, well, first of all, a real one ain't gonna do that. A real one gonna say, babe, I don't know what you're talking about. I ain't cheat on you. When I had to get on some that because that is the truth. That is the truth. And ladies, that's what you need to know. They're not gonna just, especially if he love you, he's not gonna just tell you that he's cheating. And I'm not trying to put y'all on no wild goose chase for you to go through his phone or go smelling boxes or anything like that. I'm just saying, if you got a real one, he is not just gonna open up and tell you, hey babe, I cheated on you today. She didn't mean anything. I love you. No, it does not work that way. Pay attention to patterns. Pay attention to routines. When those things start to shift, that's a tell, in my opinion, that is a tell all that something ain't right. If he normally go to work every day, go to lunch, come back in under 35 minutes, he is home about 15 minutes from the drive every Thursday. That thing started to shift and he ain't answering his phone and he an hour late coming on. Those are some things you might want to pay attention to, sis. Brothers, you too. Like, I've heard the double standard of women cheat, they just better at it. Women cheat down, they just don't get caught. Well, are you paying attention to your woman? Are you paying attention? I'm just saying, pay attention to the patterns, pay attention to routines. That's all. I'm gonna leave that one alone. All in all, my advice would be to love the person that you're with, build with that person, and have open communication so that your expectations are known throughout your relationship because expectations change as people change. So make sure that those things are known and that you can have dialogue about the things that have changed in your relationship. And so, as we close this episode, I want to invite any men who want to give some feedback to this episode. My email address is fruitfulambition@gmail.com. I'm going to say that one more time, fruitfulambition@gmail.com, so that you are not exposed on our Facebook group, so that your comments will not be seen. If you have some direct feedback to this episode, or if you want to be at the table next week, you can email me at fruitfulambition@gmail.com. We are going to be discussing the honeymoon phase. What happens when couples get comfortable after the honeymoon phase, and then we're going to deal directly into infidelity, and then we're going to talk about that double standard between men and women, and then we're going to try to bring all the pieces together to bring some enlightenment to infidelity in relationships for men and women. Women, if you want to be at the table, ladies, please, if you want to be at the table, it's just a simple email. Let me know, fruitfulambition@gmail.com. I invite you to join our Facebook group, A Seat at the Table, Jaquel Jones. Please make sure you share your feedback from this episode. I know I laid a lot on you. Laid a lot on myself. It's one of those things that, is layers to it. It's like an onion. You peel one layer back, you got another one to kind of delve into. And when we start to talk about relationships, we should be ready for it to be layers upon layers. Love is love, and I love all of you. Make sure you are loving yourself. When you can love yourself, you can then appropriately love others. So, this is your girl, Jaquil Jones. I am the host and creator of A Seat at the Table, and I am signing off. Love is love, y'all. Good night.